Sawadee Krap. Greetings from Thailand. God is moving with His Spirit, and movements to Christ are growing around the world. For over 30 years, the Ministry of Create International has partnered with field workers and national believers to produce indigenous gospel media for over 225 of the largest unreached people groups. We want to add to this media partnership a strong, intentional pursuit to help serve those in the harvest fields, for national believers to produce their own media to maximize their movement dynamics among unreached people. We believe this synergy will catapult us to an even greater growth as we utilize media and technology to both enhance and accelerate movements for Christ worldwide.
A testimony of what God's doing with media amongst movements of people is the Banjara story, a people group in India that we did an evangelistic film for several years ago. After the first 5 years of them using the film in their church planting work, they saw 10,000 new believers come to Christ and 500 new churches started. Well, this was exciting, and we went home celebrating. Several years later, we were looking on the internet, and I happened to see a website on YouTube that was showing our film. Well, it happened to be one of the actors in the film that had uploaded the film onto his own account, and he had nearly 900,000 views. Well, this got our attention, and we started to contact them and look into trying to research what actually had happened. And they said, "Oh, brother, there's not only 10,000 Banjaras that have come to Christ. Now, using your film, we've seen 2 million Banjaras give their life to Christ. And we have hundreds and hundreds of churches. And now there's actually 10,000 believers that have been trained as missionaries working amongst 200 unreached people groups in India." We were so amazed and so thankful to God for what He has done through that particular media presentation.
A few years ago, our on-field cultural advisor from a film we did in Indonesia came up to our conference resource table. We are so overjoyed to see him again, and he asked if we could help him put the film that we did together with him in Indonesia onto his mobile device, because he said so many of the youth are coming to Christ. Salam is a wonderful brother in Christ, and he's from a Muslim background, and he shared with a big grin story after story of not only the Muslim caste all coming to know the Lord, but whole families and generations of believers. And then at the end he shared, "Didn't you know your film sparked a movement among my people?" Overjoyed, we inquired to some of the 2414 movement leaders, and they confirmed that they were tracking this movement and estimate over 10,000 have come to faith. Because this film is in their heart language and shares many redemptive analogies, many are embracing the gospel as their own. The film's widely distributed and shown all over the area and is in every rental shop right now. Similar stories are told to us often, including the Urdu Muslims of South Asia. Using our Indigenous Home Fellowship film, they have seen over 6,000 Jamaats, which are fellowships, started among 4 different unreached peoples. Media fulfills a crucial role by visually modeling how a community could come to faith and form a contextual fellowship. Viewers are encouraged that there are other kingdom believers participating in life together, which fosters a wonderful community identity.
ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਕ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਂਗੇ ਸੰਤ ਯੋਹੰਨਾ ਦੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਉਹਦੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਅਧਿਆਇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ 1 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 14 ਵਾਕ ਤੱਕ।
نتقدم لك يا الله بهذه الصلاة
और हमारे पाप धे भेद या मुंह चैट सफेद कर सकूं। जब हम ये क्रॉस कर लूं
เขาแพมอย่างกันเขามูลเหลอน้ำส้มน้ำหวานเหลอซื้อในเส
As we look back over the last 40 years that we've been involved in missions, and particularly with media, we've seen quite an evolution of things happening in missions. And at first we began to see individuals from unreached people groups coming to the Lord, which we celebrated. And then we began to see whole churches all over the unreached world starting to pop up all over the place. And then we entered into a new season, which we're in right now, I believe towards the beginning of it right now. And that is the season of movements, people movements to Christ. And right now, 2414 is monitoring about 1,300 of these movements. So God is doing incredible things. And God began to show this to us, and that we as a media ministry need to be thinking about this and need to be proactive in developing strategies to help with these movements. And then as we prayed into this and asked the Lord what we should do, He told us, you need to think different. And I said, well, how, Lord? He says, well, what do you think right now about the ministry of Create International? And I said, well, Create International makes gospel films for unreached peoples. And the Lord spoke to me, no, you need to think different. You need to have a paradigm shift. You need to see believers from unreached peoples equipped to make their own films to reach their unreached peoples in their people group and other people groups that they have natural networks with. And so this became a huge worldview shift for us and changed our priorities as a ministry. And we began to pray more into this, and God gave us 4 things that He wants us to do. He wants us to continue to produce new gospel films that spark movements and that accelerate movements like we've seen before and you've heard in these stories. But also He wants us to serve movement leaders, to make contacts and relationship with those who are leading movements and leaders of movements, and to serve them, see what their needs are, and see how we can be catalytic servants to them, not only giving them their felt needs, but also helping them to see what other ways media might be able to be used to accelerate and enhance their movement. And also we want to create a network of other missionaries and other workers who are involved in training, who have a passion to equip people to know how to do gospel films. And there are many that we've discovered that are using even inexpensive means like smartphone filmmaking. And so we want to pursue that. And also, ultimately, we want to see an army of indigenous gospel film producers who can use their iPhones or their Android phones or whatever is available to them, and they know how to create a story, how to visually depict the story of Jesus for their own people and other unreached peoples around them.
Media can optimize every level of church growth. Various media forms can complement and enhance your personal interaction. In every context, we need to discover the advantage of all the multiplicity of media clothed in familiar and indigenous forms to assist all peoples to understand and embrace the gospel message.
We want to encourage you to check out indigitube.tv. It's our website that has over 800 gospel films in more than 250 languages of unreached peoples. We also have audio Bibles in 1,300 different languages. All of this is free to download. You can also get our Create International app and put it onto your mobile phone or your other mobile devices. All the resources that you find on indigitube.tv are right there on your mobile device, and you have access to them immediately. You're like a walking evangelism studio that's bringing the gospel to the lost.
Envision how you can best incorporate indigenous media and appropriate technology right into your ministry. We have developed training both online and soon on-location seminars and media production boot camps.
In this century, we are presented with incredible opportunities unknown to previous generations. How will we utilize new art forms, media, and technology to advance the cause of reaching the last unreached people? The vast majority of unreached people are oral learners. Imagine compelling evangelistic movies, art, and animation being made for specific unreached people. Gospel media in their heart languages, with their own people, using stories they can relate to. Indigenous audiovisual gospel presentations are media that combines visual and audio arts with a culturally relevant presentation of the good news in a heart language and style that is relevant to a people.
It's been 2,000 years. We've gone from preach, where we've added the ability to print, and now we live in the age of portray. So we are a part of the generation who is able to communicate Christ and His kingdom in a way that is captivating, it's engaging, it's visual. The least reached peoples, the most isolated peoples increasingly are having some access to media. And so it's our opportunity to take media to them, creating content with and for and by the people that we will be reaching. We've seen indigenous media created, and we just need others who can join in and help us finish this very significant task.
Please contact us. We can link you with media ministries who can help your movement multiply, and together we will see God's glory shown to all peoples. God bless you.